Well, actually, I hadn't finished. There's one point I didn't make at all. I got diverted. I diverted myself. Diazepam withdrawal, benzodiazepine withdrawal. Diazepam is just one of many benzodiazepines. And if your drug ends in a PAM, it's probably a benzodiazepine, and don't take it. Unless you're in withdrawal from it already. But if you're taking it for the first time, don't. Because whatever you're suffering at the time that you're prescribed it is a tiny fraction of what you will suffer if you take it. I don't know. Well, I do know from my father how people use torture. And to my knowledge, they don't keep it up 24/7 for years. And in fact, the best technique is the one my father used. To create a mind slave, basically. To create someone who will do whatever you say, whenever you say it. You don't keep it up all the time. You alternate it with acts of kindness. You stop it. And then pick it up randomly later on. That's most effective. I mean, my memories of my childhood include quite normal, ordinary, everyday family things. Quite pleasant things. And, even in my adult life, I had long periods of relative peace, or fairly long periods of relative peace, although my father didn't stop to torture me in different ways, until, as far as I knew, he was dead. The technique that would never ever be effective, except as was used in witch trials, so that it was said that the so-called witches welcomed the flames of the fire, which I can well believe, because it was the only thing that would end their pain. You wouldn't keep it up 24/7. Benzodiazepine withdrawal does exactly that. And I don't know whether the Spanish inquisitors, tried one method of torture and then another, and flipped back and forth between the various means of inflicting agony. Diazepam withdrawal does. You will be suffering one symptom, and then it will flip. I can't snap my fingers, to another symptom. And just as you think, oh my god, this is bloody awful, it flips to another symptom. And another symptom. And you can have 1,000 different ghastly feelings easily in one day. And you can't describe any of them. And the reason you can't describe any of them is because there is no point of reference. They don't resemble anything else that you've ever experienced. Something that would appear comparatively mild, really. It was one time when I felt as if my head was floating above my body. The feeling was really real, as if my head was separate from my body and it was floating above it. And that doesn't sound like much, and in fact, compared to symptoms I cannot describe, I guess it wasn't much. Unpleasant. The vast majority are a heck of a lot more than unpleasant. And I never use the word agony lightly. Since then, in fact, I'm careful not to say I'm in agony if I've got a mild headache, say, or I just stubbed my toe. I scale things very, very carefully, sort of mild discomfort, moderate discomfort, severe discomfort, mild pain, moderate pain, severe pain, and so on. Agony is right at the top there, and it's what I would use, the word that I would use and did use to describe benzodiazepine withdrawal. And it is so many different kinds of agony. It doesn't leave anything out. I'm not quite sure why recently, but I was reading about methods of torture that were used, I don't know, in ancient Greece and here, there, and everywhere. Throughout humanity's checkered history of inhumanity to humanity. And I was actually thinking, well, yeah, they could make that last 24 hours and then he would die. And 24 hours is bad, but it's not as bad as 3 years. And there are documented cases, by the way, of people who have been through benzodiazepine withdrawal and have developed post-traumatic stress from that alone. Just from that. And that is documented. So mine is definitely complex because I had a long history of torture before that.